I don't think I own anything new. Like a lot of stuff that's older is better made, a lot of times handmade, and just has like the wear of time on it. And I think that's what attracts me to those things. I think some of my favorite ones are like weird little things that are like not particularly valuable that I love, but I'm not sure anybody else does. Like estate sales, thrifting, street finds, garage sales, taking trips, road trips out of state, in state, going to flea markets. Love a flea market. It's probably something I've been doing my whole life. I remember like in high school, like digging through Free Pile. I'll like something and then I'll stop liking it and then I'll come back to it. And like I'll see pictures of me in high school and I'll be like, I would totally wear that outfit. My mom actually found a letter to Santa from me to Santa that said, like my wish list was old things. I must have been like 8.
It wasn't popular, you know, like it was more popular to get new clothes. The more traditional thing was to get like new clothes and stuff that was being advertised, you know. But thrift stores, they were popular with the outsiders. It was connected to lots of different subcultures. So if you were a punk rocker, you would go to thrift stores to find stuff that you could wear, that you could repurpose, and you could rip up. And also if you were a goth kid, you would do that. And if you were like a dandy and wanted to dress really well, like in old-fashioned clothes, you'd go find stuff. I think that it started gaining in more mainstream popularity much more recently. You know, I think that all through the 90s, it was still sort of an underground thing. But then, you know, you had you had bands like Nirvana, and you had whole movements that were popular cultural movements where the band members dressed in, you know, just old ratty clothes that they found in thrift store. For me, it's always just you're scavenging culture, usually old culture. So that's books, you know, secondhand bookstores and record stores and clothing. They're all sort of the same way. And what you're looking for is something that sort of dropped off the back of the truck and could be, and maybe even was under someone's bed for a long time, 20 or 30 years. And, you know, by the time it makes its way into the secondhand store, it's kind of somewhere between being junk and being priceless, you know? So you're looking for those items. And once it became something that more and more people were doing, it was harder and harder to find things like that. And those things also became a lot more expensive. But there was a point in time where you could find really beautiful old stuff. Well, I think an increase in popularity or interest in old materials and old culture and used materials is sort of a quest for authenticity in a way. People want authentic things that meant things to earlier groups, you know, to earlier generations. And so in that way, it's really interesting because it's a thrifting or buying things secondhand and searching for things is a way of connecting to these earlier groups of outsiders, earlier subcultures, earlier generations. Anytime a subculture like that becomes mainstream, there's a certain loss of a kind of secret handshake that goes away, you know, and so you lose a certain dimension, but there's something to be gained too, because, you know, I trust their quest for the authentic and their quest for the eccentric, you know, and I think that it's overall a positive thing.